You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You could just read the Taliban is classified, and if you don't know, the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan. They're classified as a specially designated global terrorist organization by OFAC. So post 2021, so this is last year, 2024, we spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is ruled by folks named Sarajuddin Haqqani. The Haqqani network mean anything to anybody in the room? How about Abdullah bin Laden? Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS-Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
The junta has suffered over the course of this week. The fact that he stayed hidden in a bunker for a week shows us all the more that the situation is not under control, that it's far from being under control.
The rebels are now calling for a total Russian withdrawal, while openly suggesting that France should play a role in the region's future security.
We have always stayed in contact with France, as I've had the occasion to say in several of my speeches, just as with the Americans, just as with neighboring countries. So for us, France is one of the main countries that can play a role in the future, in the destiny of this region.
But Russia is doubling.
So this is the proof that I've been saying, that it's so obvious that these people are sponsoring this terrorist groups in Mali. If you look at it, it's the proof is in the pudding. They literally have, a known terrorist going around getting interviews and then the spotlight and, pretty much admitting in the face of everybody who's his sponsor and who's his backers. He already mentioned France, that if them being, I think 1 point something to 2% of the population, they want 2/3 of the country, and apparently when they get in power, with the help of their backers, they're gonna have France involved in how to run their new called Azawad nation, which is never gonna be possible. This thing is very dangerous because we are seeing France 24, we're seeing Al Jazeera, I think TRT, all these other mainstream news channels, and they're all promoting the same messages. When you look at the thumbnails, you can see, the messages they're trying to send. And for a while, they went quiet because they didn't like how everything has turned out. Because the propaganda is Mali is lost, and this so-called rebel groups, they're not terrorists anymore. They are rebel groups now. They're making wins every day. So all this was false propaganda. As you can see now, there's people that are captured, been interviewed, that already admitted to who is helping, this terrorist groups. And what I noticed in the online space too, you have a lot of, YouTubers that are doing interviews, misleading the information they're giving out. We even have some game streamers or whatever you call them that are online following this whole situation, but changing the narrative and giving a false message to their followers, right? So this thing has become a battle in the online sphere and, in the forefront. So what I'm saying to the young African mind, our people in diaspora, let's don't fall for the propaganda. Make sure any news you come across is fact-checked. Make sure, You're not letting these people win the narrative. That's why I like when I go to this news channels on YouTube, I see my African brothers and sisters fighting the fight, by, disproving and fact checking some of these people. And then it's interesting because they're using the same recycled videos. The whole thing is almost a joke at this point. They have their terrorists on the ground making all this PR, campaign by taking pictures and short videos, and then they get run off or they end up getting on a live en masse. We've seen this happening over and over again. So let's don't give up the fight. Let's make sure that we are able to stop the rise of the misinformation, because we go in the comment sections, we see a lot of bots that are paid to try to change the narrative. To me, all they're trying to do is promote that France should have been in Africa. France should come back, and Russia's are not doing anything good. They're doing this. They're committing crime against humanity. They're extorting the Malian government. At the end of the day, we don't care. What we care about is we can write the narrative, right? We control the narrative. That's what we care about. We control the resources. We choose who we want to partner with, right? This is a multipolar world now. We can choose to sell it to China, Russia, Indonesia, whoever the hell we want. This is not about France anymore, right? The Westerners got to back off. This is not their birthright. This is Africa's birthright. So even if that was the case, we know that's not the case. But even if that was the case, that Russia is extorting, at least they are doing what they're meant to do. And it's been working for the last 3 years. Those 3 countries in the AES have literally changed the lives of the citizens. They've upgraded literally infrastructures, projects. We're talking they're going to be, in the next few years coming up, they're going to be energy sufficient to the point that they're going to be able to supply neighboring countries. This is the fear, because the moment those things happen, everything comes crumbling down. It's going to be a domino effect. Most African nations are also going to follow suit. All those leaders that have low self-esteem or fear of losing their power and having to go kiss ass to France every time they get in power, almost like some sort of Sith Lord and the Sith Master or some shit like that, or like a master and apprentice. You see an old man like Tinubu running to France to go kiss ass to Macron. Like, these people are not even our elders anymore. I can't even respect them, because an elder, normally carries that title with weight, like a village chief. It's the young ones that come and bow down to them. But we have our elders going overseas to bow down to a bunch of little kids. So we are changing that narrative. So this is a fear that they have. This is why they send the terrorists to go try to destroy infrastructure, projects, and things of that nature, right? How come, if these people are separatists, they want their own piece of land, why not get into politics? Why not, be able to work with the government, but instead you're sabotaging progress in the country? What that tells me is you are not for the country at all. You just want chaos. You want disarray, right? At the end of the day, all these rumors they want to split Mali into 4 emirates or whatever you call it, caliphate. What does that have to do with Africa, man? We have that same nonsense going on in northern Nigeria. It's just a mess over there, right? Most of these people in power, they go marry women overseas in Arabia or in Egypt. They don't care about, being indigenous to the land. They're taking gold and all the minerals and sending them overseas just so they can get a membership with those countries in the UAE. So at the end of the day, why do we want this kind of people to even have a number? Mauritania itself already has been conquered. That's a black land, let alone the northern side of Africa. So if we let this nonsense take place, and we lose Mali and the AES, we are technically going to lose the whole of West Africa. So if our brothers that are in religion, whether Christianity or Islam, I think it's time for you guys to wake up and smell the coffee, because while you are saying your religion first, most of those people that are sending their proxies, they take their ethnicity first, their nationality first, before they put the religion. So, it's time for us to be wise. We're not telling you give up your religion, because we know some of you guys have, it's become part of culture at this point. But if you're going to be blinded by religion and cheering for T groups to come and conquer the land, I guarantee you as a black person, it does not matter what ties or close ties you have with these people through religion, they're going to enslave you. They're doing it right now, modern day Libya, in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, everywhere you go in the Middle East, our people are at the bottom, right? Mistreated in Lebanon. Our women are not even allowed to birth children there, but you have Lebanese all over West Africa. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to rise from these mental shackles? We should be supporting the brothers in the AES, and that's why we got to stay alert and counter the narrative. Viva AES.